was he wanted to know about Social Security. He's a farmer. Steve, actually down by Fairbury, which is down kind of by Beatrice. It's the Fairbury Chefs for Jefferson County. Yeah, and but real nice guy. And what happens is he wanted information on Social Security. He listens to the radio show every Sunday. He said if he's in the tractor, he's listening. If he's in his shop, he's listening. And I'm on at 12 to 1. But that Social Security element, I just emailed out to a bunch of folks this morning from the coaching side. It was an article, and Steve, I had read it, but you sent it to me. It was on the trust fund, and
sure.
I don't know if you read it, but it was complicated. I mean, there was a lot of detail, but I'll tell you something. So just the basics of Social Security claiming, most people don't really understand it. And I cannot tell you, I've been in the business for nearly 40 years, but for 10 of those years, I've really understood Social Security claiming, and it's helped my production. It's helped me be more of a holistic planner. It's helped me uncover assets. So in our presentation today, which is going to last about 40 minutes or so, 35, 40 minutes, certainly we got a bunch of folks on the line with this. I mean, Steve, I think the New Year's resolutions are already starting. And one of the big New Year's resolution is I need to get in front of more people than I did during the pandemic here.
It's a good one.
And yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I always say that in our business, in the financial service arena, it's more of a contact sport than football, especially how Nebraska plays. No, I'm just joking, kind of, a little bit. We're not doing very well this year in the University of Nebraska, but it's a contact sport. It's always, insurance has always been a belly to belly, but whether it be the new Zoom now or whether it be by electronic apps, which I know you went over, Steve, there's a lot of electronic things happening now, and the pandemic is probably spurring that on, but you still have to contact. You still have to have contact with people to make production. It doesn't happen on its own. And so knowing Social Security, there's 3 different ways, which we'll talk more about, that you can get coached up by me through IAMS as the FMO, but we can get coached up on Social Security claiming. 2 are from a marketing standpoint, where IAMS actually covers the underlying cost, and then 1 is just a la carte. I mean, if you don't want any marketing program, you just want to get coached up on Social Security, we do that. Meaning I do that. And the big thing is that most people find Social Security extremely complicated. It's got 2,700 rules. It's a bit convoluted on the rules. It's a lot different than accounting, where 1 + 1 always equals 2. That isn't the way it is with Social Security claiming. There's some gray areas and variances, but understanding the basics, which we're going to go through today. If you knew those inside and out, probably 90% of the questions that are fielded each and every day and every year that I take are from within those 5 parameters. So let's do this. Let's go in for the fun of it, and I'm going to test you and see what your Social Security knowledge is. Okay, so let's go in. If I have, yeah, I do. Thank you very much. There we go. So here we go. Most retirees get little advisor help, meaning from advisors, from brokers, from insurance agents on Social Security. You know why that is? Because only about 1 out of 10 truly understand Social Security. This is from Sarah O'Brien from CNBC. She says, and I'm reading this word for word, a majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of their retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor, the study concluded. So here's this test. It's by Simply Wise, well known on the net for financial information. It says a Social Security test only 1 in 300 seniors could ace. And I said, I put this in. Hey, how about you? How about the financial advisor or the insurance agent? Okay, so there's 5, and we just have 5 questions. So here's the 5 questions that stumped older Americans. Let's see if it stumps all the people are on the line. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you get 5 correct, you can teach this course. If you get 4 correct, you're pretty darn good. If you get 3 or less correct, I mean, you certainly probably need coached up on Social Security claiming. So let's go to the first one here. Here's the question. And be honest with me, don't look it up on your cell phone or computer. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Take this quiz with me. There's only 5 questions. I'm going to shut it off here in 3 seconds. 2, 1. Answer? Most people say full retirement age. That's incorrect. To maximize your benefit, you can wait as late as 70, and it keeps increasing by 8% in cost of living. Correct answer, 70. Just 42% of all Americans ages 60 to 70 knew that answer. How about the advisor? Age 70. Next question. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Answer is 60. Here's the wild thing. Only 9% of people on the Simply Wise test knew that survivor's benefits can be claimed as early as 60. How'd you do? Third question. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yes or no? You got a 50-50 chance. Does your spouse need to receive their benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Answer is yes, you do. Only 20% of Americans knew that. You cannot claim benefits on your spouse's work record unless your spouse has already claimed for benefits. Very important. Fourth question out of 5. Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses, they're unmarried, receive spousal benefits? They're divorced from their spouse. Can divorced spouses? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yes, they can. And here's the trick on this question to get it right, because you had a 50-50 chance on yes or no. If 4 stipulations are met, you only need to tell me 2 of the stipulations. What are the 2 things that have to happen for you to get the benefit? Tell me 2 of the 4. Write them down. So can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? If you guessed yes, then I need to know 2 of the 4 stipulations that have to be met. Here we go. Okay, first of all, your marriage had to last at least 10 years or longer. You're currently unmarried. Your ex-spouse is at least 62, and the divorce is at least 2 years or older. If you got 2 of those right and answered yes, you got the question correct. Congratulations. And this question, are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Interesting question. Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? It's a yes or no answer. Answer is yes, you are. Remember those 4 stipulations? Now, if you can't get 2 of the 4 here and you guessed yes, you really need to coach with me. Yeah, if they're met. And what were they again? Yeah. Here's the 4 stipulations. The first one is that you're currently unmarried. Your ex is at least 62, It's been at least 2 years or longer since you went in and you got that divorced. Yeah. So the stipulations have to have been met. Okay. And your ex is at least 6. So you're currently unmarried and so forth. So yeah. So that's it. Those are the 5 questions. How did you do? If you got 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, yeah, then you really understand Social Security pretty darn well. If you've got less than that, which probably a lot of you did, yeah, I would consider boning up on your Social Security claiming. Get a load of this. This comes from Jana Heron. She's an online writer for the USA Today from July 1st of last year, 2019. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Look at the headline. Doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Bullet point 2. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000. That's real money, folks. $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. In bullet point number 3, overall, only 4%. I actually heard it's 4 to 8%, but only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. And it says here the best age depends on a host of factors, including all of these the Social Security Administration cannot ask you. They can't ask you how long you'll live, what are your other income sources, what are your future costs in retirement, are you still going to work, are you married? They can't ask you those things. They cannot give advice on when to take your Social Security. They can give your highest benefit now. Is that wild or what? And that's where most of the people go to. I call this a stroll down memory lane just to talk about Social Security claiming. Social Security started August of 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. First checked Ida Mae Fuller in 1940. Age 65 was the only age you could take Social Security. Now you can take as early as 62. And as late as when for your biggest benefit? 70. That's right. Yeah. No reason to wait past 70. You just lose the benefit if you don't take it 70. But everyone had to take it 65. And from a longevity standpoint, the average age of a person living in 1935? Age 62. How do you like them apples? For actuarial odds slanted towards the government. Different now. In 1961, they started lowering the age to 62 at a reduced benefit. And then shortly after, they raised the benefit up to 70 for an increased benefit. Cost of living adjustments, meaning COLA or inflation, year to year was enacted by Congress in 1975. There's only been 3 years. There hasn't been a cost of living increase. 2010, 2011, and 2016. We were concerned about with the pandemic that it might be 2021, but we are getting a 1.3% cost of living for 2021. That came out October the 12th of this year, October 11th or October the 12th. The fiscal year ends for the U.S. government the last day of September. It always comes out within the 2 weeks after that. Okay? Is Social Security tax? Depends. Depends on if you're above a certain bracket. So the first bracket, if you're married filing jointly, yeah. And you make above a certain bracket, 32,000, then yeah, you're going to pay 50% of your Social Security is going to be taxed. If it's above 44,000, then 85% is going to be taxed. There is taxation on Social Security if you make it up. The last time Social Security ran a deficit was in 1983. That's why they started taxation. And Bill Clinton liked it, so he said, let's tax more. So it's up to 85%. Last time there's been any major, besides COLA changes, was the Bipartisan Budget Act under President Obama in 2015, which phased out file and suspend in 6 months, and restricted application is still around as long as you are about 66 years and 11 months or older. Okay. Any questions? Type them on in. We will answer those for you. Is Social Security important? You're darn right it is. Basically, 60% of retirees, they count on their Social Security benefits to be a major source of income for them. A wild? A major source for them. Here's Social Security 101. There's 3 dates or ages that are important to Social Security. When is the first date you can take at a reduction? Age 62. What is the latest date that you can take with the largest amount of growth? Age 70. And then there's a date in the middle, depending on when you were born. It's either going to be full retirement age of 66 or 67. Full retirement age, everything is taken from full retirement age. If you take earlier than that, you get the benefit now, which is the positive. The negative is it's discounted. It's less. How about if you wait longer? Wait till 60, 67, 68, 69, 70. If you wait longer, it's increased. It grows a guaranteed 8% a year, not counting COLA. What's the good point? Bigger amount. Bad point, you're not getting the money. Well, if you take it 70 and die at 71, well, it's a bad deal. Just lose the money if you're single. Okay? Can Social Security have a huge value? You bet it does, but you have to claim at your right time. Not the right time, not a right time, but at that particular person's right time. Rounded off, $2.9 trillion in the trust fund. The expenses were about $1 trillion. Revenue was about $3 billion more. We ran a surplus last year. We did not run a deficit. We probably will this year, especially with the pandemic. Okay? If Social Security is not firmed up, shored up, we are going to run out of money in the trust fund. It will go bankrupt somewhere between 2030 and 2035. So somewhere between 10 and 15 years, it will be bankrupt. And that's when you hear politicians say Social Security is going bankrupt. The interesting thing is Social Security is not. Just the trust fund will be depleted of its $2.9 trillion. How is Social Security paid? It's a pay-as-you-go system with payroll taxes. The 6.2% payroll tax that the employee pays, the 6.2% that the employer pays. I'm not talking about what goes in for Medicare. This is just Social Security, okay? And that 6.2 and 6.2, most of that, 6% of that is conventional Social Security, for retireds, maybe some children, but spouses, etc. The other 14, 15% is to the disability. There's actually 2 trust funds. There's a Social Security trust fund, and then there's a separate disability Social Security trust fund. But most of it, 85, 6, 7% of it goes to the Social Security, to the conventional, it's called the OASDI, Old Age and Survivor Disability Insurance Trust Fund. Okay? So how are they going to shore this up? Well, it's either going to be our taxation or they're going to raise the full retirement age higher or raise the age 70 to 73. There's going to be something that they do with taxation and probably the age. It will probably be something that they do in tandem. Okay? So here's some facts about Social Security. It is a pay-as-you-go system. The 6.2 times 2 is 12.4% taxation. That's what funds the majority of Social Security. The rest is funded by interest on the special issue Treasury bonds, and also there's a 3-4% that is from taxation of Social Security. Does the government borrow? Take money on the bonds that are within that trust fund? Yeah, they do. They're funding wars, they're funding education, they're funding just a lot of different things. But it has an IOU, it has the guarantee in full faith of the United States government backing that. It's not a Ponzi scheme. They've never missed a payment in 85 years or 80 years of paying from 1940. Okay, from Ida Mae Fuller, that $22.64 check, there's never been one payment missed. Okay, and what happens is that a lot of people say that there's not a real asset that is backing Social Security, especially if the government goes in on those bonds and borrows those bonds and gives an IOU. But cash, the cash in your pocket, there's not gold or silver that backs that. It's the full faith and credit of the United States government backs it. Same thing that backs Social Security. When they won't accept my cash at the gas station because the currency's not good, then I'll be concerned about my Social Security at that time. You need 40 quarters of coverage. Each quarter, you have to make $1,410. That gives you a quarter of coverage. So in any given year, the most quarters you can have is 4. You can't have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. You can have 1, 2, 3, or 4, but not higher. So $1,410 per quarter times 4 is $5,640. If you make $5,640, and that will go up with inflation next year, but this year in 2020, you just earned yourself 4 quarters. What happens if you earn $100,000? Well, you're still only earned 4 quarters, but those quarters are bigger. They're bigger. They're a bigger benefit for you down the road. So if you don't have 40 quarters in, you can't get Social Security. If you have 40 quarters in, unless you pay big dollars for it, you can't get Medicare, traditional Medicare A and B. No. It's all around that working. And 94% of all Americans who are retired have a Social Security benefit. 94%. So then they figure out what your earnings were over your working career. And then it makes a difference if you take it. The earlier you take, the lesser your benefit. The longer you wait, the bigger your benefit. They take your 35 highest adjusted years. You know, I had so many people asking me questions. When my brother asked me 10, 11 years ago this question, he said, so with Social Security, how many years do they count for your benefit? I thought it was like a pension. I think I told him 3 to 5 years. He calls me back and said, I looked it up. It's 35, and I was embarrassed. Been in the business for 30 years. Yeah. So what happens is it's 35 years, inflation adjusted. So if you have 40 years, they take your top highest 35. You have 50 years, your top 35. If you have 30 years, they take all 30, and you get 5 zeros in the years that you didn't work. No one likes zeros. Didn't like them in high school, junior high, or elementary. And you're not going to like them with Social Security either. And then, like I said, there's only been 3 years since 75. There hasn't been a COLA. So in 2021, the cost of living allowance adjustment, or cost of living adjustment, is going to be 1.3%. This year, 2020, was 1.6. Last year, 2019, was 2.8. The year before was 2%. Last 10 years, 1.9%. Since inception, almost 3.5%. Highest year ever was in the 80-81. Remember how interest rates were so high? You know, we had a year over 14% inflation with cost of living for Social Security benefit. Gotta love that dog, don't you? Long-haired dachshund with the birthday cap on, and a cake with a candle, and he has a bone tie. He's wearing a bone tie. Full retirement age. If you're born from 43 to 54, it's 66. I was born in 55. Yep, that makes me 65 years old. I'm 66 years and 2 months. 1960, then it goes up 2 months up to 1960 year later. Full retirement age is 67. A newborn born today, full retirement age, 67. If you take early, it's reduced. Remember I told you that. It's reduced 25% if your full retirement age is 66. If you take it 62, if your full retirement age is 67, it's reduced to 30%. You only get 70% of your benefit. If you wait later, for every year, if your full retirement age is 66, for every year you wait, you gain an 8% a year. And you throw a cost of living of a couple percent on that, you know, where can you get 10% in the stock market guaranteed by the government? Can you say nowhere? Where can you get an income rider guaranteed, not using your money? No, nowhere. It's a great. It is the best income annuity there is. Government guaranteed, has an inflation clause, has a survivor benefit, a divorce benefit, has a children's benefit. I mean, it has so many benefits that the conventional corporate um, annuity does not have. So let's talk. We're going to talk about spousal. So we talked about individual benefits there. That's one. We're going to talk about spousal benefits, divorced spouse, survivor spouse, and restricted application. If you know those five inside and out, that's going to be about 85-90% of all of the questions that you have. The people that I talked to on the phone today that came from Retirement Boss Radio, absolutely, he says, I know nothing. Nothing. And when I got done, I just went through the most simple, like the 3 ages. He says, well, that's extremely interesting. He said, he says, now, and they're going to wait because they have very much longevity on both sides of their family. So here's what happens. PIA, days, see the middle that says days PIA, that stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age. So say Dave and Amy are both 66. Dave's Social Security benefit amount at that time, or his primary insurance amount of 66 is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Let's say they both take. Dave takes his $2,400. Amy takes her $1,000. Dave gets his $2,400. But Amy, the lesser of the two, gender neutral, of course, the lesser amount of the two has the option of taking all of their benefit or half of their spouse's benefit, whichever is higher. Amy can take $1,000. Or half a day's is $1,200. Which is higher? Half a day's. That $1,200 is broken into two parts, and it will show that way on your Social Security, even though it comes in one, I say check. Almost everything's ACH now into your checking or savings account. But actually, she'll get $1,000 for her own individual benefit and a $200 spousal top up. Now, this is one of the questions we had on the quiz. What happens if Dave does not take it and wants to wait till 70 or 69 or 68, but doesn't take it 66? Amy takes hers. He's letting his grow. Can she now take half of his? Nope. Only if he goes in and starts his benefit. Interesting. Spousal benefit. Divorce spouse benefit. I call it the triple play plus one, or in the quiz it was the four stipulations. Marriage lasted 10 years or longer. Current spouse taking the benefit is unmarried. Doesn't make a difference if the other spouse is married. They don't even have to know about it. Doesn't affect theirs in any way. Ex-spouse is at least 62. And lastly, the divorce had to be 2 years or longer. If all those line up, you can take your divorced spouse and claim them for Social Security benefits just as if you were still married to them. Why is that important? Let's say you're a doctor and you got a $3,000 benefit coming in. Let's say the wife never worked. She was always a stay-at-home mom. She did charity work. She never got her 40 quarterly credits in. What happens is, let's say that he claims his benefit at 66 at $3,000. Like this year, the highest benefit you can have, if you maxed out all 35 years, like this year, the max is $137,700. Now, a lot of people, not a bunch of people make that, but let's say that you're a doctor and you're in a higher income and you did it for 35 years, you're going to get $3,011. That's if you maxed out every single year, you have $3,011 coming on in. Well, how much can she claim? Well, she can claim all of hers, his wife can, which is how much? 0. She hasn't got her 40 quarterly credits in. Or she can take half of his, $1,505.50, so $1,505. She gets that. Now, what about the divorced survivor benefit? In that very same scenario, what happens when he dies? She can jump up and get his full benefit. That's how important. What happens if they're divorced? You can still do it. You can do it off of survivor. You can divorce off of a A married divorce benefit, as long as those four stipulations are met. Interesting. Now, I'm not saying all of this makes sense, and I go through it much slower and much more in depth if you're coaching with me. The two marketing programs we have, which you can learn Social Security, one is Retirement Boss Radio, one is with Social Security seminars, which I got another virtual seminar coming up next week. The first couple, two or three I did, three, just didn't have much success. But we changed some things radically, and we really kind of hit the sweet spot. We had 21 appointments. That's a lot of appointments. Normally, if I have 10 appointments or more in a seminar, I'm as happy as a lark. We had 21. I'm writing up my third piece of business tomorrow. Third piece, about 240,000, and that's the third piece. Altogether, it's over 600,000 from that seminar. I got another virtual seminar that we do here that we got coming up on next Monday. Interesting, yeah. But survivor benefits here. Dave's benefits $2,000. Amy's benefits $1,200. Who normally dies first in a marriage? The guy does. Dave dies. Amy can keep her $1,200, or she can let hers go and jump up to the $2,000. Well, what's she going to do? She's going to jump up to his. Interesting. On an individual benefit, I mean, you got to start it on a spousal benefit is done automatically for you on the higher, but on survivor and divorced, you got to ask for it or you don't get it. You can actually start a survivor benefit as early as 60. It's discounted 28.5%, but you can start it, but you can let yours grow all the way up to 70. And then turn it on for the full amount, even though you took the widow's benefit early. What a big deal. You can also start your benefit and let the widow's benefit grow. And you can't, widow's benefits or survivor benefits do not get widowers benefits do not get delayed retirement credits of the 8%. So, at full retirement age, you'd switch over to a higher widow's benefit. Interesting. Yeah. Coordinating spousal benefits, file and suspend did get phased out, but the twin sister of that, or twin brother, is called restricted application. And on restricted allocation, what that means is that if you're born before January 2nd of 1954, you can restrict your application. What does that mean? Now, this is a complicated slide, and I'm not saying you're going to understand all of this. But Dave and Amy are both 66. This is a loophole, and that's why they closed it. Been around since early 2000s, 2003 actually. But Dave's primary insurance amount is $2,400, and Amy's primary insurance amount is $1,000. Amy files for her benefit at 66. She gets her $1,000. Dave wants to let his benefit run until age 70, so she can't take half of his. But with restricted application, there is a file. Here's what happens. With this restricted application, you can reach out and take a spousal benefit off of Amy's. That's what Dave can do. Even though he starts and stops as in the eyes of Social Security, he has available to him a spousal benefit. Half of $1,000 is $500. So Amy gets her 100,000. Dave gets $500, half of Amy's, and lets his grow 8% all the way up to 70. What a deal. What a great deal. That $500 a year, $500 a month, or $6,000 a year, it's free money. It's absolutely free money. So what happens on this is, if you do it for 2 years, it's $12,000. 3 years, $18,000. It's a big deal. There's only 0.7. That's less than 1%. 0.7 of all adults who restrict application would help use it. Pretty wild. Social Security cannot give advice. Look at this. It says in their manual to the Social Security workers, provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. So it says consider all your income streams. I call it the 5 pillars of income, but Social Security is not a standalone income stream. Social Security is the most flexible of all the income streams, claiming at your right time, not the right time. And don't forget about the survivor benefit. And this is I did today. I mean, just I fact find right off of here off their assets, working wages, pensions, income producing assets like 401ks, IRAs, Roths, CDs, rental property, RMDs on traditional, and how Social Security complements those. So when you're claiming Social Security, there is a bunch to consider. And the three ways, as we sum it up here for questions, the three ways you can get this is sign up for seminar marketing. You know, we're talking $3,600, or actually I think it's $3,500 for a virtual seminar. Or if you want to do face to face, then we can certainly do that. But everything is pretty much locked down right now. Retirement Boss Radio, you can't catch the virus off of recording in your own home or your own office from the radio. And then if you want to just do it a la carte, you can do it for 4 sessions. Those 4 sessions are $200 each. So if you want to learn Social Security, don't want to do any marketing, you just want to learn Social Security, a la carte, costs you $800. And I won't tell you what, it's going to be the best $800 you ever spend. But if you want to get in front of people, then you'd like to do some other type of coaching with a marketing standpoint. So as we're summing up here, kind of finishing the online webinar, one of the things that I kind of wanted to go over was it shows a procrastination, and I can't, for whatever reason, can't go to the next slide, but there's a saying, it says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. And it never comes. You know, no one's ever come to me and said, Dave, I've made so much money from procrastinating. It's unbelievable. So go to the poll, Steve. That is for the poll that we talk about if they'd like to have a consultation on Social Security claiming. More information there. So the poll we have on is kind of just the outcome poll on the wealth management. So you got the chance, if you mark yes on this, you got the chance to go in, sit down with me on the phone, talk for 25, 30 minutes, just kind of what your marketing is doing, and really find out if Social Security, understanding Social Security, learning Social Security, being coached up on Social Security, getting in front of more people through marketing in Social Security is key. You're going to get coached up on every single one of those. The big thing here is I'm kind of a Social Security claiming geek. I know what it's done for my business and many, many other people that I coach. And it depending on your situation, you know, it could be a big factor on what your production looks like for 2021. So, Steve, I'm going to open it up. I've got to scoot out of here in 5 minutes. I actually have my doctor's physical today. So I've got to scoot out of here at 11 o'clock in 5 minutes Central Time. So let's go through real quickly any questions, and then I'll let you finish it on up.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave. You're giving your doctor a physical today? I swear.
No, he's giving me one.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
So there are a few questions. A lot of it revolves around some very specific Social Security questions. So what I would say regarding those very specific questions is put yes on that poll, and let's get you set up with a call for Dave so that you can get those really specific questions answered. I think that would be best. General questions that we have are a lot about Social Security seminars and digital workshops. How does that work? And radio, Retirement Boss Radio, how does that work? Can you give us just a quick review? For instance, let's start with digital workshops. So give a little thumbnail of what you've done there and what your levels of success have been there. And then we'll talk about radio for just a second.
Okay. Yeah. So I had done about 530 public workshops since the early 80s. I've always been a seminar guy. No dinner. All my last ones are Social Security, some kind of educational setting, library, community center, municipal building, school. But then the pandemic came, and we couldn't do them. Still can't. And so the first one that I did, I didn't do any. I got a few appointments, didn't do any business. Second one I did, I got more appointments, no business. Third one I did, I did get a piece of business. Didn't pay for the 3 that I did, but I really, we took my ear out and just listened to what everyone else was doing, people that were having success. I've got a lot of connections within the seminar arena, and we changed some real vital things. Not the presentation as much, but the way it's marketed and followed up with. And all of a sudden, I get 21 appointments. Tomorrow will be our 3rd piece of business. Over 600,000 that I did business, in that workshop. Now, I'm not promising you'll get 21 appointments, but you know what? What I will promise you is that you're going to have 25 people attend that workshop. 25 people are attending that workshop, and we're going to get at least, you're going to get I hope half, a third to a half of the people. That is what we've learned by trial and error, Steve, and you and I both have been through this together, and other people that I took information from, because it's a different kind of the way you market, the time of day you market, the day you market, the follow-up. We make all the follow-up calls now, because we were finding that a lot of advisors were not making those follow-up calls before the day of the appointment. So we really got a good seminar system now from a virtual standpoint. $3,500 guarantees you that you'll have 25 people there. Households. If 25 households are not there, you're not going to pay for it, for everyone that's not there. So that has worked. I have another one coming up on for next week. So I'm really excited, because it's just people are more virtual oriented than they ever. Zoom, I just saw again that Zoom. It's incredible how many people are using Zoom now that I had never used Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever use Zoom before, Steve?
No, not until February.
That's right. Mine actually was in March. Yeah, I was a late bloomer. Yeah, that's right. So that's one of the ways is with Social Security virtual seminars.
And then let's talk about radio for just a moment. I know you've got some appointments you need to run to, but talk about radio for a second and how that works. I think a lot of people are intimidated by that. Just judging by the remarks here, it looks like people are, they like the idea of it, but I sense that there's going to be some loss in translation, because I think people are scared of it a little bit. I think you need to can you take a minute and put us at ease regarding how radio works?
Well, first of all, it's recorded. And we record in our own office. And it's done by, which you couldn't do this 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's done by a pretty darn expensive app, software that's within your computer. So as long as you have internet, and the faster the internet, the better the sound is. But we have a co-host. We have a person that goes out and buys the radio time. We have a company that takes, even though it's recorded, it sounds live. So when people call in, they think it's live. It goes right into our live call center. And Steve, I'll tell you, I've got people averaging 5, 6 appointments a week. I got people like myself, I'm averaging 3, 4 appointments a week. It just, a lot of people are listening. The fellow I got off this morning with, because I listen to you every Sunday that I can between 12 and 1, he said, I'm learning from your show. And he probably listened to me. I said, how many times do you think you listen to me? He said, I've been listening to you 20, 30 times. And then he calls me and, hey, I want this appointment. Hopefully we'll get some business from this.
Sure.
So it's if I can get 10 to 15 appointments a month, I'm as happy as a lark. We've done more than that as of late, but if I can get 10 to 15 appointments, I'm very, very happy. And I normally do, I'm doing a virtual seminar and Retirement Boss Radio. The cost is what really slows down a lot of people. But I'll tell you, if you're in a smaller market, all in cost, everything, the production, the co-host, the call center, the coaching on my part, me coaching you up on Social Security, can be low as $2,500 to $3,000. Most of the markets a month for that's every week an hour show. Most of the places we are little bigger cities, so it probably runs maybe 4,000, 4,000, 4,500. But I'll tell you right now, if you're getting appointments and you're getting business and you're writing business, isn't that the name of the game? And that's what we're trying to do for you. So that's Retirement Boss Radio. On both seminar coaching, I coach you up 3 coaching sessions on Social Security claiming. On Retirement Boss Radio, 3 coaching sessions are all, and IAMS pays me to do that because they know how important that seminar aspect is to the virtual seminar or to Retirement Boss Radio being your own radio celebrity. What happens is that, and again, I'll throw this out. If you say heck with it, I just want you to coach me, Dave. Yeah, I'll just coach you a la carte for $800. Is that a huge moneymaker for me? No, because there we coach for 4 sessions, and each one of those sessions are for 45 minutes, and I give you there's attachments and handouts that I give with everyone. But I tell you right now, our goal here is to get you excited about knowing, understanding, learning, being educated on Social Security claiming. You cannot believe, unless you do it right now, it is so empowering because so few advisors really understand Social Security and hardly any of the John Q public. And like that test we took, I mean, unless you got 4 or 5 on that test, you need some help. Yeah, I aced it. The only really tricky question was, when do you maximize your benefit? Because I thought about full retirement age, but you get more at 70. And so that probably stumps a lot of people. But it's a great subject to learn, to set you apart, to be the go-to Social Security guy or gal. I think it could be important. It's extremely important for your community.
I think too sometimes, Dave, that people don't think they're going to sound good on the radio. So what I would encourage y'all to do, if you want to hear what you will sound like, is go to www.retirementbossradio.com, and down at the bottom, you scroll down to the bottom of the first page, and you'll see some podcasts, or just listen to a couple of them. Remember, it's a recorded event. You have scripting that you can go by. It's kind of a outline, a summary, so you have kind of the basics of what you're going to say from minute to minute, and you've got a co-host that's going to help you along the way, and then you have really good production folks that are going to make you sound really great. So people listen to one of Dave's podcasts and they say, well, Dave sounds great, but I'm not going to sound that way. Everybody sounds that way. I mean, they make it sound great. It's very professionally done. So don't be afraid of the radio right now. And I guess I'm talking about that a little bit more because I know that Dave's results have been better right now. The advertising is just cheaper. Remember, you have to pay, most of the cost is the actual radio time. Dave's cost, we take care of a good share of that. And you've got some production cost. Most of it is the radio costs, and those radio costs are down right now. So it's a good time to get your foot in that door, and people are listening more. So you return, and you're going to get some celebrity status, but you're also going to get appointments. When you say, let's open up the phones, they're going to be calling, and it's going to go to the folks, and they're going to pick up the phone, and they're going to set an appointment for you. And so it's not just building name recognition. You're going to get 2, 3, 4 appointments that you can count on each week. And that's, of course, 10, 12, 15 appointments a month. And you know that you're going to be able to do business to offset your $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 monthly costs. So it's a money maker that you can kind of count on right now. And so I'm very bullish on radio, just because I've seen what Dave and his folks he's been working with have accomplished. And it's a great way to build your credibility in an area, so that when you walk into church, or when you walk into the store, or when you walk down your neighborhood, people say, hey, that guy's on the radio. Now they know what you do. They know what you do, and they know how you do it, and they know you have some expertise. And Social Security is it's one of the great all-time ways to help your clients and build a rapport that can help you do business with them. So it's really good stuff. Dave, you've taken a lot of time out. I know you got to get to your doctor's appointment. I hope that was well.
Everything will be fine. No problem. I'll let you finish out. Thank you, everyone, for being with us, and Steve will finish up the webinar. Thank you very much. Have a great production week. Bye bye.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great day. So we really are finished up. I haven't seen any additional questions get answered other than the ones that looks like everyone that had that specific question or two. Looks like most of you have set an appointment with Dave, so that's good. Dave, you're going to find him really easy to talk to. You're going to get some information from Dave that will help your business no matter whether it's regarding Social Security or some other struggle that you're having. He's been coaching producers and the part of the production, and he's a producing coach, which is a lot different than a coach. So he's still out there playing on the field with you, which can be pretty valuable. So with that, I'm going to close up today's webinar. I do encourage you, if you have any questions, I'd love you for you to call the office here. It's 800-255-5055. You can ask for myself. My name's Steve Murray. Ask for any of our sales directors. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. We've got a lot of things happening right now at IAMS. We're closing out 2020 strong, and we put a lot of nice packages out to our producers and folks that are looking to IAMS for some assistance and growth and leadership for their business. And if you want to get in on that, just give us a call and say, hey, include me on some of those things. Get me on your email list so that I can see some of the things that you guys have available and take advantage of them. We'll start next year with the virtual summit. We'll have some great speakers that you'll be able to not only listen to, but interact with if you want to. All you got to do is just let folks know here at the office that you're interested in hearing about that, and we'll get you on the list. So I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know it was a little bit of a different year, but I hope you had some time to enjoy with your close family. And we're looking forward to a great, strong finish to 2020 and going into 2021 strong. We'll have this pandemic behind us in early part of 2021, but we still have to be able to adjust if we're going to have a good start to the year. We can help you with that here at IAM. So give us a shout. We'd love to chat with you. Again, that's 800-255-5055. And as the final slide says, if you can avoid it, don't procrastinate. Have a great day, great finish to your sales week, a really strong finish to your sales year, and thank you all for taking some time and joining us today.